Good day. My name is Dr. Jannie Botha, and I am a psychologist, and I'd like to speak to you a little about the difference between full-time and part-time ministry. So my own life, I was very young when my parents passed away, and I had a lot of questions about life. I started with a lot of questions about life and became a Christian when I was 20 years old, 15 August 1981. Became a Christian, and I had this thing about sharing the gospel with people. I really wanted to tell everybody about this wonderful thing that happened to me. And a year later, in 1982, I got called to full-time ministry, and I was so excited, but my wife wasn't so pleased with that, so it took another year. So in 1983, we went into full-time ministry with an organization called Campus Crusade for Christ. The reason why Campus Crusade for Christ, because I really believed I needed two things to really be effective. Number one, I needed to be equipped, and number two, I needed to work with professionals. I wanted to work with people in influential places. So I started working with Campus Crusade for Christ, and I worked for the first 5 years, I worked with Athletes in Action, where we were working with sportsmen in full-time capacity. So that meant that my income came from other people. And this full-time ministry was amazing for me. And then from there, I went into the student ministry, where we worked with the campus ministry, where we worked on university campuses. What was great for that, because I felt I was working with influential people. And as I was working with these influential people, you must still remember, I had all these questions about my parents dying, about life, about everything, and I felt I didn't have the answers. So I studied in the meantime. I studied very broadly. I studied theology, finished that. I studied philosophy, finished that. I studied psychology, finished that. And the reason for that was not to become anything, but just to have answers for myself. And during this time, I started feeling that in this ministry where I was really blossoming, I felt I'm working with the Christians, and I wanted to get to the non-Christian. I wanted to get to the people that are not going to church, they don't like church. So that's what I felt. So I moved, and I decided to move away from full-time ministry into part-time ministry, and I became a psychologist. And in becoming a psychologist, I felt I've got a different platform. I can work with these people that are now not going to church, not looking at as Campus Crusade as a Christian program, but looking at me as a psychologist, not at all Christianity. And in this, I started feeling that my platform has shifted. So my work stayed the same. I was actually still in full-time ministry. The only difference was I was paying my own ministry. But the platform just shifted. So the platform in your life, and that's very important to understand, whatever you do, you are actually in full-time ministry. It's just your platform that's different. It's who you work with that's different. Do you work with the people in the church? Do you work with the people outside the church? But you are in full-time ministry. And to be in full-time ministry, wherever you are, you need one thing. You need to be equipped. You need to understand why you're doing what you're doing. What I understand now, being in this part-time ministry, which is actually full-time, being in this part-time ministry, I understand now a lot of people that I work with, executives, I do a lot of executive coaching, and a lot of these executives, they find it really difficult. They are wonderful Christians, they work for the Lord, but they don't feel equipped. And so I feel, as part of my part-time, full-time ministry, is that I also still need to equip people to be able to work, to do the work of the Lord. Because we as Christians, this is our ministry, this is our life. So I'm in ministry every day. And now I want to challenge you guys. Wherever you are, whatever you do, you are in ministry. Are you equipped for it? If you are, you better start doing it, because we're the only ones there. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sandy Lipselezi from Durban, South Africa. I currently work in a project executive role for the local municipality. I've been with the Leader Impact community for almost 2 years, and it has been a life-transforming journey for me and my team. I have been challenged to step out of my comfort zone through the foundations and venture impact programs that have been led by Chris and Elspeth. These exciting programs have provided a place to meet new friends and to learn from other industry leaders' stories. These programs are well structured with interactive videos and practical exercises to help grow our personal, professional, and spiritual lives. The purpose is quite simple for me, and that is to make a significant impact in the marketplace through the gospel. I'd like to share how my calling as a leader has been developed and how God has worked through me and my team. I recently took a step of faith in response to a prompting by the Holy Spirit to set up a leader impact group in the workplace. The aim of the group was to choose a book of our choice that will help us to grow and have meaningful connections. So at work, as a group, we decided to choose the book Boundaries by Doctors Henry Cloud and John Townsend. And it has been an amazing journey exploring how our personal, professional, and spiritual lives need boundaries in order for them to be effective and impactful. We have had the privilege to know each other better through this process and get the opportunity to pray for one another and to allow the gospel to take root in each of our hearts. I must say it has truly been a refreshing time for all of us. And as we go into the rest of the year, I'd like to invite you to join a foundations or a venture group in your local town or area, or even take the step of faith to set up a group in your workplace. The opportunities are endless in which we can make an impact in the lives of others. So my challenge to you is this: what are you waiting for? Let's venture together.
For me as a Christian in a national company, it was not difficult to live out my Christianity in the workplace. I prayed to God to show me how I could reach out to my fellow colleagues. The first thing the Lord showed me was to be an excellent worker in the company. Through this, I had the respect of my superiors and co-workers. This definitely helped me in many ways. For example, to have access to meeting space facilities at the office during lunch times. In the beginning, it was just a prayer meeting for all staff. This opened the door for one-on-one spiritual conversations that later led to Bible study opportunities. Here I also asked a person from Campus Crusade for Christ to help me. As a group, we from time to time held a small social event, and every person was asked to bring a colleague that was not involved yet. Through these events, we drew more people in for prayer and later for Bible studies. The biggest challenge for every person involved was to be back at their workstations in time and to deliver excellent work so that those in managerial positions could see and reap the benefits from our meetings.
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm a student living in Leeds in the United Kingdom. I grew up in Southern Africa. I lived in Namibia for 8 years and then lived in Cape Town, South Africa for 3 years. And then at the beginning of 2020, I moved back to the UK with the hopes of studying graphic design, which I am now studying. My plan was to get a job and then earn some money before university, but I lost that job within 3 weeks because of the coronavirus lockdown. I was then trying to think what a good use of my time would be because suddenly I had so much free time. And actually the opportunity placed itself in my lap because I got contacted by Campus Crusade for Christ European branch, and they asked me if I would like to create videos for their Instagram account, and I got involved in their social media and was put on the communications team. I also went to a couple of online events where I went to an online evangelism training course and had an online Bible study and discipleship sort of training. Even when I did eventually go to university, we were still in a form of lockdown and I still had all of my lectures online, but I was able to invite my non-Christian flatmate to come to some church events and some Christian Union events. I'm actually quite involved in my Christian Union now. I co-lead a mission group with actually my housemate, which is for people in the halls of residence that are near me. I'm now looking for ways I can be more missional on campus, such as sharing my faith with non-Christians or with having a study group for non-Christians and Christians alike. I want to live my life for God wherever I am.